Hey, it's Joel Tatum. This is Joel and Randy's Texas Tea, and we are on the air. I'm back with my co-producer, my co-host, and this thing, Miss Pinky.
Hello.
How you doing, Miss Pinky?
I am this side of the dirt, as I like to say.
Thank God. We kind of missed her last week.
Yes.
So, yes, she's on this side of the dirt. She didn't get murdered.
No.
No. I love
alive.
that text. I didn't get murdered.
Was that what I said? Lord have mercy.
I think you either spelled murder wrong or you were just trying to be you.
True.
So I went murderer.
And you just never tell, and I love that about me, because I could be as illiterate as I want to be.
Yes,
And no one will know if I'm just yanking their dick.
And on this week's show, we have the photographer extraordinaire, Mr.
Hello.
Carlos Villegas.
Hi, this is Carlos Villegas, and always ready.
Always ready.
Always ready.
And
She don't have to get ready.
we have a lady in the house. we have the quintessential Miss Singapore Rogue.
Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop. We having a lady on this week, competing with other ladies on this show.
Yeah, let me tell
Lady with
competition.
a lady with an actual vagina, not lady in the sense of.
Oh, I was
But
getting-
you know what? No. We all have one thing in common, though. We're all just breaking hearts and holding farts every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Yes, ma'am.
I am not doing one of those things.
Breaking hearts.
I think you meant holding the fart.
That-
I think you meant holding the fart.
Shots fired, y'all. Shots fired.
Let it all hang out this week.
That's very interesting, because I was going to ask Carlos how he felt being on the show as our resident lady.
Oh, I am totally, happy to be here. But I do have a question.
Since we're
so if
clarifying
you're
it,
alive,
it's
what is
gas.
the excuse for you being alive?
Would somebody?
Oh my God, that's amazing.
I am a hard
That's an excuse.
bitch to murder it. Did.
Murder it did.
Somebody had absconded with my phone and my wallet, and not the keys to the car I was driving that night, but my other car.
So you lost your keys?
I found my keys,
But you lost them.
but I did. Yeah, I had left them.
And also, babe, didn't you lose your keys as well?
Yes.
Okay, how many people lost their keys last week?
Slash tag, like,
1, 2,
50,000 hands just went up.
Slash
organization.
That took me so long.
Slash
tag.
Cheers, lady.
It's gonna be a thing. It's gonna be a thing.
Mother Queen and Pinkish Queen.
Slash tag. We had an interesting night when I lost the key to begin with, because I had a guest over and some acts were performed.
Outside?
And I was
Like juggling in some form.
In some form.
Something
and
like
I
that.
was not super thrilled about what was going on at the time.
Because you invited 2 people over?
No, just
and they
one.
locked you out in the hall?
No. I didn't.
Just
No,
one.
that's not how
So-
that
Thank
happened.
goodness, because I would have to kill somebody.
That's not how
You
that
can't do my
happened.
girl like that. You can't do my girl like that.
I just want to know how you got some and still not happy about it.
Well, first of all, let me throw this shout out here. We have, I think, one more episode as Joel and Randy's Texas Tea. We will be making the name change.
What happens then, Joel?
We will be making the name change, which Pinky and I have hashed out,
We've hashed it out.
Worked out. And then I called him the next day and said, "Oh, I have this dream, and I want to change one word in it." And then that's the name of it.
I love you so much for saying that you
So
just
can
that
we
you had a
have the
dream.
name of the show? What's going to be in
I don't think we should do that.
September?
No, we're
Or
not
is it
going
going to be a surprise?
That's just the tip. We're
That's
just
just
giving
a
you the
tip.
Okay.
tip.
That's just
That's
a
what
little
she
tip.
said.
I would
Yeah.
prefer the whole thing, but that's fine.
Oh no, you're only going to get a little bit of a tip.
It's
Just
Okay.
a little bit of a tip.
It is.
I'm getting double tipped here.
Hey, don't smoke in bed. That's wonderful.
And Miss Pinky wasn't here last week, so I want to let everybody know that Miss Pinky is now the co-executive producer of this show.
Yay!
Hey! Well, cheers, baby.
So I am gonna never hear it. I'm just gonna hear it all the time from this girl, all the time.
I was
'cause
gonna say.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Because here's the funny,
Because queers need somebody to argue with.
cute
we're not
little story. I said, hey, can you come over on Tuesday? Because we need to talk about the show. Mm-hmm. And he says, so how is this going to go? Am I just going to be a sounding board? Or are you just, are there going to be some changes made? I said, this girl just
excuse me.
Good Lord.
In no way feeling entitled to any changes being made. Yes. I just wanted to set my expectations.
Yes, exactly.
So that I should know how strongly I should come with my own ammo.
I have, and we talked about this last week. Miss Pinky knows how to read you without you feel like you've been read until like 20 minutes later. And then you realize this bitch just read me.
Yeah.
So after that message, I went, this bitch just read me. Literally just read me. So, okay. So when she comes over on Tuesday, I will announce to the entire world that she is now the executive producer, co-executive producer, and major co-host of the show.
I put one shoe in the door and already was being called Taiwan.
Mm-hmm. I know, right?
Yeah. Oh, today. But
oh, Taiwan.
Just today. He just keep going. Everything keep going like
he had every country from Asia calling you every country from Asia.
But I mixed it up with different flowers too.
I'll tell you what. As long as I leave, you call me Bangkok, I'm good to go.
Yeah, exactly.
See, normally for me, it's like when I come, it's Bangkok.
I'm a lady.
That's the difference. That's the difference between you and I.
What? True. You come or?
Well, I have a cock. So when I come, it's Bangkok. When you leave, it's Bangkok. Cock been banged.
True.
I like how he has to explain the joke.
No, I like.
But it's always good news.
But no, I take it with.
I'm excited that
much
you're.
I'm very, very humbled by that, and
I'm really, really excited that you guys are going to be together.
And
like,
it has turned out to be a very nice mesh.
Yeah,
it really has.
I think it's really awesome.
The way that we sort of complement each other, the pre-show powwow that we had, before I was.
I think it's a good vibe.
Yeah.
Round.
Mm-hmm. After I woke up in the ditch.
Right.
That day before, I woke up in the ditch.
Why are you in the ditch?
No, I didn't.
No, he didn't.
I didn't.
That was just an excuse for being alive.
I was so thrilled about all the work that we worked for 3.5 hours.
We did.
Getting all the stuff we needed to do for this show. Go ahead.
We drank a marvelous Malbec.
We did. And then we foolishly decided to go to Michael's Outpost.
Oh.
We did.
Afterwards to celebrate.
So
and I had a good time.
We had a good time.
You had given up on your dreams, and then there you are. Then what happened?
Oh, no, I didn't give up on my dreams. I was like thrilled.
And then
I'm telling you, for months, all I heard was, Joel, sweetie, you have to be able to accept help because you do all this stuff by yourself. And you have to plan everything. You have to put everything together. You have to do all this other stuff. And, Pinky has never missed a show except for that one time. But has never missed the show. So she's always had input and everything else. So I figured it's a natural match.
I'm really excited about it, to be honest. Like, when you told me like that, I was like, this is going to be good.
I think it'll be less.
I'm very supportive of it.
This is my baby. As a single mother, this has always been
my baby. And it was so funny because we totally.
And I went, now I can let.
And I'm a stepdad. We've finally made official and introduced me
very much yin yang. Like, was it like yin yang? Like
100%.
Ebony and ivory. You said yin and yang.
Miss what is it called? Best Judy's.
What?
Best Judy's.
Best Judy's.
My baby said, "Go on ahead and get him for the papa of this show." And I said, first of all, I'm the papa. Always remember that.
Exactly.
She's mama. I'm the papa.
Yeah, and that's kind of how we explain it to each other. It's like, I get it. I'm just, I'm finally getting to show you that, like, your kin or my kin.
Exactly.
And, I'm not going to drop the baby, so I can, You're
going to breastfeed it. Okay. We get it.
And we have
potato vodka. It's the same shit.
And we're going to rename it, and it's going to be one name and one name only. It will never be
all you step parents out there,
Mm-hmm.
you don't get to rename the baby, so don't get
exactly.
Don't get
yes.
Outrageous expectations. This one just happens to be one that gets to be renamed.
Oh, let me explain to you what Carlos said. Hey, why don't you just call it Texas Tea? I said that's cute. Okay. But then I went online and found a couple of girls from San Marcos. I think they're from San Marcos. Who also had the name Texas Tea.
Cannot do that.
And I'm like, oh no, now we can't use the name.
Can I just, out of respect for a fellow podcaster,
exactly.
Are they girls or are they?
No, they're girls. Mm-hmm.
They're not. Mm-hmm. So they're like college kids.
Mm-hmm.
They're like girls.
Two college girls who like
actual females.
Mm-hmm, who like to have.
No,
yeah.
I just was wondering if they're like 40-somethings,
Like,
30.
No, they're in their 20s.
Yeah.
I listened to their show. It's cute. It is cute.
The best way to explain
They
it
have cocktails. They talk about their roommates.
Are they lesbians?
No, they're straight girls.
Oh,
they're you know what? There's two types of people.
Not
People
just
who pee in the shower and the dirty fucking liars.
You know, the funny
You say
thing
girls
is,
who pee in the shower?
Yeah.
Doesn't it just run down your leg?
Well, you know.
it does.
I mean, I guess that just kind of came out. I was thinking about it.
Well, it depends because if you squat, it'll just go like towards the back.
If I squat?
No, not you.
Oh, I was like, no, it doesn't.
I just thought I didn't think it came down the leg. I just thought it just came straight on out, straight down.
No. I mean, like you can pick up the mons pube, and you can go straight up to him. Like,
honey, I don't know what that is.
Okay. All right.
The hood.
All right. If I may explain, so the fat on top right here,
fupa.
The fupa.
No. The fupa. That's this.
No.
I have a little one. It's
fupa is right around.
Right there. You can just kind of pull it up.
It's where your V turns into a W.
About the lips.
No, like no, babe. You can.
No, you just like from here.
You just pull it
you
up.
grab the sides of your V and you like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can totally pee straight up.
You know what? The funny thing is, I feel like I'm sitting in a room full of straight men who still don't know what the hell is going on down there.
We don't.
We honestly don't.
But now you pretend like
when
you do.
straight men don't know what's going on down there, that's a problem.
Sure. That is a problem.
You should know. Everything that's going on down there, you should know.
Right. It's like the equivalent of like walking up to your combination lock with a key. Like.
86.
Yeah, 86. Exactly.
It's a combination lock, sir. Your key's not going to work.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, they gave me a key. I got a key. It'll work.
Yeah,
no.
Then no. That's
you gotta learn the combo. Up, down, left, right, A, B,
I did watch a little show on True TV that educated me so much on the not the clitoris. Is it the clitoris? No, not
clitoris.
There's a clitoris.
That's the spot.
That's the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's one of the
under the hood.
No,
the main spot.
I don't think it's the clitoris.
It's a little man in the book.
No. I don't think it's the clitoris. It's that thing that supposedly that men rip off the. It's like the.
You're talking about
the hymen.
The hymen?
The hymen, yes.
Oh, that
I learned about the hymen.
That comes to cervix.
Okay, so
that's up there.
Yeah, no. That's what you have when you're like young, and then the first time you break it.
Right.
So that's like little. Like
and
that's
some
like up
women
cervix.
Actually, some girls
size.
are born without one, so it depends.
And
those
I learned
girls,
a
valuable
lesson on the hymen from that episode because I'm like, wow, I did not realize that.
That's why they call it a cherry.
The one that the hymen really doesn't serve any purpose. It's just like some extra skin or something. It really doesn't serve a purpose. It's not like unwrapping a package and suddenly she's
kind of is
no longer a virgin.
It preserves their because a woman has a certain number of eggs to develop, and they do not start.
Yeah, like guys, like men.
Well,
like,
I mean,
you
I
guys
guess
make sperm all the time.
I guess they do.
You just skeet.
Do
make it. Women like when you pregnant with baby and baby's born, X amount of eggs are already set. you can make more. You can't do anything like
Right.
that.
I don't understand what that has to do with the hymen, but
I
okay.
guess it, I guess it doesn't. I guess it doesn't. Because a girl can start having her period before her hymen's broke.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it kind of it covers
sheath. It's the sheath.
for the cervix. Like the cervix
yeah,
is
but
directly above
I-
that, and it
If
covers
that's
the uterus.
If that's the case, then wouldn't all the when the girl does have her period, wouldn't it all get trapped up in there?
when
'Cause
it,
it'd be
the
like,
uterus is below the cervix. So the cervix is on top
Okay.
of the very top
That-
of that, and the fallopian
So
tubes come
you're
around.
talking about
Now,
where
for old school Joel, from all the stories he had heard from boys about the fact that you
I
have
like
to
how
break
you do
her,
like third person.
how
That's my
you have to
favorite.
break the hymen to like make her not a virgin anymore, and I'm like,
Interesting.
I don't think that's how it
It's
works.
that's a macho bullshit.
That's
I don't think that's
no.
how it works.
Did you stick it in? Yes. All right, then you're not
Okay.
virgin no more.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think that the hymen has anything
To me, in
do
reality,
with that.
That is
To
a
me,
very
if you're
pagan
having
and
some type
yeah.
of sexual activity, you're no longer a virgin. That's just for me.
it was
Like,
used in the
regardless of
old
whether there was
time, old
pregnancy-
days
Exactly.
to
penetration
show
or not.
whether she was pure or not.
There are still certain countries that if you don't have a hymen, suddenly you are like a slut or something.
Exactly.
No,
It's
you're,
like,
you're a whore.
you're a whore,
discarded.
blah, blah, blah.
Like you're
even
Somehow
if you've
you don't
never
use
had,
it.
even if you've never had any kind of sexual experience at
Right,
all.
Right. Because the actual proof is supposed to be that if it tears, it's going to bleed. And when they say they see bleeding,
They're supposed to
then-
bleed their first
then that's
time.
what they broke their virginity.
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
stupid.
But that's a
Right.
completely different problem.
'Cause,
So
like I
some
said,
women have
some
it.
women don't have
Honestly,
it.
some
some-
women
some-
they don't
right.
have.
they don't have
or-
it. So, but a lot of women in a lot of countries get judged for that, and it's really a
No, you're right.
horrible thing. I did not realize how
Yeah,
horrible
you get completely discarded by your family.
It's a black mark.
By everybody.
For sure.
It
I
is.
mean, you can be a 14, 15 years old, young girl, and then you're just completely like
Yeah,
trash,
exactly.
disgrace to your family, and then you're 86.
Right.
Away.
because you didn't have a hymen to begin with.
Right.
And unless my mom is Dr. such and such or whatever, don't tell me shit. That's stupid.
Well, I think every gay man on this show has now got an education on the vagina
Yes.
and how it works. And I did say the clitoris, but you know what?
Not the guy in the boat.
I'm like,
Slash tag, does that have anything to do with why it smells like fish? Is he in
no.
a fishing boat?
Well, why? Honestly, in all honesty, why else are you in a fucking boat? Why you think you just hang out in a boat? No, you're going to go get fish.
Slash tag, they made a movie about that, Brokeback Mountain. They went fishing all the time.
Well,
but they weren't fishing.
They were
I've heard of,
hunting and not fishing.
They were
for the record.
fishing.
No, they were hunting.
But they weren't in a boat. That's true. They weren't in a boat.
But something else, something else that I
Lovely.
learned that was quite interesting. If you're on the keto diet,
keto.
if you're on the keto,
What is that like? What is it? I honestly, all this diet stuff, I don't.
I know.
I
But
don't
if you're on
give
the
a shit
keto
about that.
diet, you mess up your pH,
Mm-hmm.
and you get this horrible smell in the crotch area, and it happens to both men and women. You get this horrible smell.
Well, I think
And that has something to do with, we go back to like people
Some-
changing
something-
their underpants.
Right.
Which-
Well, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But if you really think about it, if you look at this scientifically a little bit, we are supposed to have a smell to us. We are supposed to be,
Pheromone.
we're
We
supposed to
have
have an
pheromone.
odor.
Everybody have
but
pheromone.
because of society, we kind of cover. We use deodorant, and now we have
I don't like that shit.
stuff you can put in your balls or in between your legs and so on to avoid the smells and whatnot, or cologne. But in reality, there's supposed to be a smell to your body.
Yeah, there
we
is.
all have that odor.
Every other like existing thing, how do they claim their space? They leave their smell.
Yeah.
They leave their smell. And
They don't
I
rub
think
their
this is-
armpits on it though.
I'm just saying, we're the only ones in society that
Well, I
have to be
wouldn't
like, we
mind
have
that.
to change it. We have to
Yeah, exactly.
alter
I meant-
our
I am-
smell. And for me, I don't smell like 99 Ranch Market. Okay, I don't smell like H Mart.
What is H Mart?
It's another Asian market. Yeah, I don't
Oh, I
smell
do.
like-
I love H Mart. Oh my
I
gosh.
was like, wait a minute. Come on.
I was like, I
Come on,
totally know
baby.
H Mart.
Come on. Welcome.
Jackfruit is like the most cantankerous fucking fruit.
Like I think I smell a little more like jackfruit than durian. Thank God. But I mean,
Right.
But you're but
Juicy fruit.
Why do you think? Why do you think that we have to cover up how we naturally smell? And I'm not saying like not shower and be nasty, but I'm saying like, why is the natural pheromones of people like? Why do we have to 86 it and cover it with bullshit? Why do we have to do that? Why do? You
then the funny thing is that then we have to get colognes that have pheromones in them. To try to
exactly.
But it's like, wait, we already have this. So why do I have to go out and buy cologne or anything else?
But some people have more than others, and it also depends on whether you're...
Because scent is a marker.
Mm-hmm. It is. And sometimes you are chemically, what's it called? What's the right word? You are attracted? A match.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because I've been with people that I cannot stand their natural odor. And I'm not saying they smell bad. It's just that even if they take a shower, I can still smell that person.
I've had somebody blink at me and I don't even like them.
And so it happens.
Oh my God, I felt like that when you walked in.
I remember I had this boyfriend that, sometimes I would be like, don't shower. So, because the more, I guess, his natural oils and I guess...
Musk
was there, it was just better for me.
Do you think that word musk has like a dirty kind of connotation?
It does unnecessarily.
And it's unnecessary because I like a musk. I have smell.
When my old man is out working all day, he come home, he smell like work, hard work, money, everything. Yeah.
Like how?
Let me see his stuff.
Panties melted. How? Like what? And she just standing in a puddle, y'all.
We already talked about this. I don't wear underwear. It's too hot. It's 1,000 degrees outside. I'm not wearing layers of clothing.
I do. I just don't sleep with anything on.
You shouldn't.
It's true.
And
you should not.
And speaking of underwear, I cannot believe that a little underwear company decided to do a study on the underwear habits of men and women. And it turns out that 50% of men don't change their underwear every day. They change it every 2 or 3 days. Or I'm like, I'm not one of those men. I like a fresh pair on every day.
When we talked about this earlier, I thought about my old man, and I'm the one who usually does all the laundry, and he has like 50,000 pair of underwear. Oh my God, because he's outside working, you know. I think he changes it every day because I know
we get sweaty down there.
I love a good cheese, but not that much.
Yeah,
like I don't want that in the house. You better rinse it off and put some new on.
You go from American to Brie in like 30 seconds. No, you don't want to do that. But I'm like, now there are exceptions. Now, if I go to bed, now there are some times that I'll come straight home from work and I'm just too tired.
That's okay.
To take a shower. And
but you're not going with,
and I'll strip down to my underwear and I'll go to sleep. And then I'll wake up and I'll put my pants on and go to work the next day. And then I'll take a shower later. So it's not like I'm wearing it like 2 days. I cannot wear underwear 2 days in a row. I can't do it.
And then most of us are industry people. You know, like we're on our feet all day.
And you're just hustling.
Like,
stop.
That shit is gonna itch on you if you keep being like
that. Exactly.
This.
And men get you. I
couldn't imagine having like
you get some jock itch going on down there, and it is not pretty. You get a rash,
fungus.
It's just
and like it's hard for a guy to contain that. Like,
yeah, exactly.
There's only like anyone with the most amount of will in the world, like can only resist an itch for so long.
So whenever you lovelies here, like when you do get like a little itchy, how do you guys like deal with it? Like, what do you do?
I use tea tree oil.
I
love
really,
tea tree oil.
Really
tea tree oil keeps me I feel fresh.
I stopped wearing underwear.
What about you, baby? What do you
see? If I stop wearing underwear, I get itchy.
Yeah, I get itchy.
So that's why I
wear
jeans
underwear. Mostly.
I wear jeans mostly.
Jeans.
But like if I get a rash, or I start getting like I either use that Gold Bond thing, or sometimes depending on if it's already a rash that I kind of need to start looking into. Okay, what's wrong here? Then I might use something like Neosporin.
Neosporin and
antibiotic. Yeah, and that's what I use. For the most part.
Yeah.
But
I'll use Gold Bond if I get rubbed. Like if I'm like hovering and like if I'm like because I do a lot of salvage, so if I'm just like constantly doing pallets and I'm out in the driveway all day, like and beating down the sun, like that will happen. Like with denim especially. Like,
Oh yeah, the
just,
jeans.
yeah.
I have-
jeans
yeah,
is gonna
jeans.
kill you.
I have no thigh gap, so they're just rubbing against each
Nobody
other.
likes to brag,
tell you,
babe.
I can't even tell you how many pairs of jeans I have that like have no
They tear
crotch
from
left
there?
in them.
Yeah, you know.
Because you're like
I know,
that.
I'm
Because
the
that's
same
I
way.
have to get.
I was wondering about that too because I always wear out the crotch
Yeah.
in my jeans, and I'm like,
all the time.
why?
For me, I get it right behind the butt, like right there.
I get it like
I get it
right
everywhere.
on the taints, between the taints.
Yeah.
The not
and the
white.
ad- yeah.
And I since I don't wear underwear, like I never realize it until I've put them on, and then I'm like,
You feel
Sit-
a breeze.
I'm sitting
that
down.
shouldn't be there.
I'm sitting down and I'm sitting on this wooden stool, and I'm just like, here it's like, bloop. And then I go to stand up, it's like, I'm like, oh. Or someone's like, your ball is showing. I'm like,
And I'm a sweaty guy.
I knew I forgot
and
something.
I'm a
Yeah.
sweaty guy, and we live in Houston, Texas. And last week it
It's
was
sweaty.
100 degrees for like
And then,
several days.
And then the heat index was like 115.
Yes, so
Right.
you can imagine.
then-
I walk.
That's why I
everywhere.
stopped even doing
I literally
eyebrows.
walk everywhere.
I think
live
the
in a
heat has more to do
neighborhood.
with it.
I live in the Montrose area, and I love being able to walk to different places. Oh, let me tell you something. October, November, walking around in this neighborhood is amazing. I love being able to
It's
like
perfect. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
you know, just
Everyone from where I'm
go
from looks for a
walk.
winter home. Everyone from here looks for a summer home.
True.
Go for a walk. Go grab a bite to eat. Go to my favorite bar, TK Bitterman's. Have a couple of drinks
With me.
with Singapore. So if you're in Houston, you need to go by
Just
TK
ask for
Bitterman's.
sunflower.
Monday, Tuesday.
Monday and Tuesdays. That's where she's at.
Yeah, you
that's
can
it.
see my butt.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
cute.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Pinky
And
let
go
me borrow
for-
some shoes.
But during the summertime, it is hot. I'm not one of those. I cannot.
It
I
is-
have to have underwear.
It's like Hell's waiting room.
Yeah,
It's
I have to have underwear.
unbearable.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of the reason I left town. Like,
Yeah.
No, let me tell you, I would shower like 2 or 3 times. Like this past week that I was in Mexico. Of course, we were hitting the 102 degrees, and this is not index. This is actually just
Right.
because there's no
God.
humidity over there.
So it's a dry heat.
So
Oh,
it's a
that's
dry
the
heat.
worst heat.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's
so
so.
not. I love
It's
dry
I was
heat.
I
showering
hate
like
dry
2 or 3
heat.
times.
It's
This
bad
is
for your
crazy.
skin.
Because there's no AC, of course, almost anywhere.
I love dry heat.
It is.
So much
Like
more
it's-
than the humid. Like, because I sweat profusely, and that's when I started having
me too.
issues.
Well, see, dry
Is
heat.
my clothes and the wetness and the stick and the
Dry
rub.
heat is really dangerous because you don't sweat as much.
You don't sweat, yeah.
And so,
Right, because
like,
there's
it-
not that
it's- you're-
osmosis happening with the
You're
humidity
like
in the air. And
singeing,
Yeah.
and no, dry heat is horrible. And also, it's bad for your skin.
I'm half
It's gonna
Irish,
make
so
you
I
look
stay out of
old.
the sun and the heat as much as possible because I just crisp. So.
Humidity, I mean, I would take that 1,000,000 times. I know that it feels like basically if you have like a duvet, throw it in the washer, hot water, pull it out and put it on. That's exactly what it feels like to go outside. But I'd rather that because I know it's good for my skin at least.
Right, or you put it in the dryer for like half the time it's supposed to dry, and then you put it on high heat while it's still real moist, and you just wrap up in that and just hang out, like go outside in the sun and
That's basically
like
Well,
play kickball.
I'd totally rather have.
It is better for your
than-
skin. That makes sense.
Yeah, I have issues because I have eczema and a little bit of psoriasis. So I can't shower like I used to. I used to be able to just get in the shower, take
get
a
very
shower
dry.
for like
Right.
20, 30 minutes because I just like the water on the skin and this and that. But,
Right.
I love it. Yeah.
But because of a bacterial infection that I got a while back, I now have to deal with issues with eczema and psoriasis.
'Cause it
So
may get
I
psoriasis,
cannot,
but
yeah.
I've never.
So I can't shower.
come to
Like
that point.
showers are like 5 to 10 minutes. I have to use like cooler water.
Yeah.
I have to use a special soap.
Which is better for you anyway.
Yeah.
I
Hot
have
soap
to
is
use a
not,
special
or hot water is not
soap.
good for you.
And I don't have it. I have it literally on my legs, like on my ankles and on the upper part of my legs and that kind of thing. And I have all these cute shorts, and I cannot wear shorts right now because it's
You can
like
borrow some of mine. Well,
Well,
I gotta wash
you
them
can
first.
still
We already
worry
talked
about-
about
I would
this.
say, well, first of all, don't worry about what you
Mhm.
what people may think of or how you look.
I think
It's
very
it's
good.
impossible not to
think it's-
worry about it.
But it
No.
depends. It
No.
depends because I'll put it to you this way: when I got my psoriasis, I get it right here in my face. And so it left, and so you can't see that much anymore, but it used to be a big old stain right here. You can still see a little darkness like right there. Yeah. And so it messed up my skin really bad. And I looked like I had patches of many different things. Like people could have thought that I got beaten up or that I was just dirty or whatnot. I didn't give a crap.
Broken dreams and thug
And
life.
some people stopped going to work, stopped going out. I just kept going. And if people looked at me funny, I was just like...
Well, the funny thing is that now I'm trying to learn how to manage it. And I know that when I stress out or what have you...
that's going to make it so bad.
It makes it so bad.
Yeah, because I started getting it when my mom passed.
Sometimes it weeps and it's not pretty. And it's like, oh... Well, I have all these cute shorts, and I'm like, I really want to wear shorts today, and I have to wear jeans.
Well, also at the same time, I mean...
but I've been told that the sun is good for it, too, so it's kind of like a double-edged sword.
So exposing it to the sun, is that better or worse for you?
It's supposed to be better.
It's supposed to be better.
It's supposed to be better.
Because you're getting some of that D.
But I don't... and you know what?
I just set that up, didn't
I? Vitamin D.
For the longest time, I had the prettiest legs on the planet. I mean, just cute, brown legs, very smooth, with a little bit of hair.
Well, and that's the trick with it being in Houston.
When I got the psoriasis and the eczema and everything else, showing my legs, I have all these dark spots and all this other stuff, and it's like
for me, I can't be the...
And it just makes me so self-conscious sometimes. And I just get so angry at the fact that...
Are you angry at yourself for being, like, self-conscious?
I'm angry at the fact that I once had pretty legs, and now they're marred.
And somebody...
They're dark spots.
You know, and something beyond his control snatched that away from him.
So it was taken away from me, and I was like... So...
That's really...
Yeah,
irritating.
It's irritating.
It is. I
can see that, but and the funny thing is, I can't really relate, and this is the reason I say this. I'm a very practical person. I'm the kind of person that, you know, if you don't like what you see, don't look at it. If I have this spot here, if I have this pimple here, if I don't have hair, if I'm overweight,
don't look at it.
That, don't look at it.
Close your eyes.
Because there's somebody that is going to appreciate it.
Somebody's going to like it.
Somebody's going to appreciate
Damn right.
it. So what I would say is, yeah, you might have a dark spot in your leg. Somebody's going to appreciate that spot.
Somebody's going to want to be on that spot.
Yeah. So I would say, don't worry about it.
It's hard to do that. I can totally commiserate with him in like an unrelated way. Because, I mean, like my parents were not nice to me. I never had that kind of constant encouragement.
You're singing to the choir, girl. I know what you mean.
But I mean, you're constantly not good enough. You're constantly and so unlearning that. And like I seem anyone who meets me to tell somebody that I'm a debilitatingly shy person, they call me a liar right on the spot. Especially if they meet me out at the bar.
True.
They don't believe that I have any kind of self-conscious anything. Exactly. I worry about exactly the same things, if not more things, that anyone else worries about, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm not an overweight guy. I'm not an overly hairy guy. But I still constantly, like, I don't like going to the gym because I always feel like everyone's watching me and I'm not doing enough. And then on the opposite side of that coin, I never go to a buffet because I feel like people are watching me and I'm doing too much.
That's funny because...
No, go ahead, baby.
Well, I was going to say, it's funny because since I was little, I always remember thinking of, look at me. If I pass by, I don't know, like I like the attention. So, and I guess it's because of Gemini, I don't know. But I've never been bothered by, like one day, not too long ago, I was going to a restaurant and people were just staring at me and probably my family and whatnot. I was just like, hey, how are you? Thank you for staring. So I'm that type of person that I don't care. I do have some issues, like I will not take my clothes just in public. But if I'm on a one-on-one with somebody, you want me naked, you're gonna get me naked.
And you see
don't threaten me with a good time.
You see these arms, you know what's under the shirt. I'm wearing a sweater.
I missed out on a fabulous pool party because I'm like, I'm looking at my legs and I'm like,
well, the chlorine could have irritated your skin more.
I'm like,
why not?
Right now, my skin is going through some irritation right now, and I'm having to deal with it, and it's just hard work to deal with it. And the idea of putting on like some swim trunks or some shorts, and being
Right,
by the
adding
pool,
something
and then
on top of anything else you're
tell
self-conscious
people, sweetie,
Explain.
it's
You don't
having
have to-
to
you don't have to
constantly
explain.
explain. I've
don't
never
have
had
to
to do that
explain.
before, and so it's a little weird for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To now have to do that.
See, I can understand, but it's hard for me to relate because I'm
Mm-hmm.
the total opposite when it comes to stuff like that. I'm just like in your face and whatever. Although I do have my shy moments and I do have my insecurities at the same time, I usually don't care. I'm just like, it is what it is. I'm who I am. Deal with it.
I'm really glad this kind of came up because I had a kind of situation with one of my best friends. She told me the other day that I was gaining too much weight. And I was like...
Too much weight.
Yeah. And
I look at you and you're skinny.
yeah. And I'm
What are you
like...
talking about? I'm gonna go.
I was like, let me put down my cell phone. Do you want me to weigh now? Like, I was like, are you serious right now?
Oh my god.
But yeah, she was like, yeah, you probably like, since you have a relationship, like you getting like
Fat and happy.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm happy fat. And one of the oddest things was,
And we throw shade at that because we're jealous of it.
I was kind of like, and even like today, like her words saying it to me has been resonating in my ear, in my mind. And so
That's
even
'cause she's
wearing
not
like
happy.
a short shirt, I was like, oh, people are gonna look. And I was like, you know what? If they don't like it, either one, don't look, or two, buy me another shirt.
No, that's
Pick
the thing.
whatever you want to
They're
do.
looking, and the reason they're throwing shade at it is because they wish they could be in the situation where they could just be happy and not have to be on a keto diet or a no gluten this or a this, and just have somebody accept you and somebody that you can let all of that bullshit and the rat race go.
Can I
And then
tell you
also
this?
with
Though, when it comes to being single versus being in a relationship, when you're single, you have to do everything you possibly can to try to attract someone else.
I
And that
disagree.
means that you have to do all the stuff that goes with that.
Wait.
And the
Let me
funny
hear
thing
this.
is that once you get it, once you find that person who's like,
You let go.
oh, they like me for me, and that's great. So now I can just relax, and I could just be me with someone. When I thought, wait a minute, but I was me to begin with. Why am I doing all this stuff?
Or you're
This
trying to
is
change.
ridiculous.
And you know,
now.
And
They-
you con somebody into falling in love with someone you're not.
The day after my friend told me like that, I actually pouted. I was quite upset. I just felt bad. And the next morning, I woke up in a slightly inebriated stupor.
Been there.
And I didn't remember this, but apparently I yelled at my old man. I said, hey, I want a pizza. Go get me a pizza. And then I fell back asleep. I woke up with him hovering over me, and he was like, don't roll over. There was a full cheese pizza next to me. I had never been more happy in my life. And I was like, I'm going to be happy and whatever it is you call fat. Like, life is too short. I don't want to die today, like tomorrow, knowing like I could have had pizza today. Like it was kind of jarring to me. And out of my girlfriends, I'm the only one that's in a committed relationship. I am the biggest one out of all of my girlfriends. But for somebody to kind of point it out, it definitely
Because they can't
made me
understand
feel-
it. They can't understand it. Because they can't get a guy, and you can somehow keep a guy.
And you're the biggest.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
to them
exactly.
is not logical.
That's not logical.
For me,
That's not logical.
That's not
For me,
logical.
because of the way we think about it. Because, like, for me, like, honestly, my weight fluctuates. I get thicker than I am.
I go from like
I get-
180 to 110. I go.
Shit, that's a
I
big-
my range isn't that big. I go from like I would say 155 to 175. I think it was my max.
I was gonna say
But, like,
when you were 6, because you're only about what 130 right now.
No, I'm at 155.
Take out your cell phone. I'm kidding. I'm
They're over there.
Cell phone down.
No, but I'm not.
Take the case off.
Muscle weighs more than fat,
Yeah, true.
and so I'm like,
Muscle? No, just kidding.
Happiness apparently weighs more than fat. I'm hearing these days.
and shouldn't it?
It should, but it made me feel
When
so
you
bad.
when you're in that rat race, you're not happy. So you're all around. You're not happy with your look. You're constantly in this flux of like, who who am I? Who am I? Who am I? And you're playing this Russian roulette with your image, and you're never the same person. And that's really, you chasing that around in a circle is why you're never actually, like, syncing up with anyone.
Yeah.
Because you're never the same person. So somebody who was attracted to you or could be attracted to you in the future, you've now done this thing where, like, we're very judgmental people.
Mm-hmm.
We perceive who you are by the way that you look and the way that you carry yourself and the things that you emit as important to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you change that and you go completely, like, hobo style or you go completely, like, Vogue, suddenly this guy who was super into you when you were bohemian, and that's really more your match because that's really where you're more at home, is not into the Vogue. And so you must be that shallow to have, and you weren't the bohemian that he thought you were to begin with. It's like, and I had a health teacher, and she was actually my interior design and home ec teacher as well. And she made this analogy about a cake, and I think I've said it on the show before, but like a cake with a meh recipe, if you put really good frosting on that, it's still just a meh cake, so it gets a meh bow.
It's
cake
like a gold ring and a pig nose.
Exactly. A cake that is really effing good and doesn't need frosting, everyone's going to enjoy whether you put frosting on it or not.
Yeah, you're not rich in substance.
Frosting is just
I love the way you
the
said
bonus.
that. I love the way you said that.
It's like,
really awesome.
Fix your recipe, be the best cake you can be. And it goes, and RuPaul has her own iteration of that. And it's like, if you can't love yourself, how on
could you-
earth?
You can love nobody else.
How's anybody else going to love you?
Love you?
Oh,
Because you're selling this image of yourself
that's
that you're not lovable.
Yeah.
You're convincing people that you are not
Yeah.
worth their time.
And it goes back to your vibration in what you put out there. If you put positivity about who you are and what you are and whatnot, that's what, you get back. But if you, because in reality, you can't see somebody loving you the right way because you don't even know what that is.
Because you can't even do it.
You
It
can't
makes
acknowledge
it so confusing
Yes.
because you want to be yourself, you want to impress this person, and you have to fit society's standard of whatever the shit they say that you have to be.
We all think
And
that
you're like,
Can I throw this in here?
yes,
Sure.
please.
Last week's show. Last week's show was all about the intellectuals at the table. And you realize that if you listen to last week's show, we took a break at XXX, and we were perfect. This week's show, we went way over.
Yes. But
the funny thing is
Did
that
we do
this...
bad?
No, we didn't do bad at all.
No,
This is flowing.
We are going to have to take a break here in just a little bit.
Right.
But I want to throw something out here so that we can talk about it in the next segment because it took me years to finally start accepting myself and being happy with who I am.
Yeah.
And then this thing happens, and now I have to start all over again.
Right.
And I'm pissed.
Right.
I am
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
pissed. It's ridiculous. But let's take a break because I'm gonna get into that in just a minute because I feel like that this is
Going
really
somewhere.
this is really going somewhere.
This is
I love self-love. I love
know,
self-love.
Me
I
too.
know. So let's take a little bit of a break because, by the way, I also have to mark these shows
okay.
for commercials. So I'm like thinking, wait a minute. Let me go check the clock and see where we're at. 40 minutes.
I
And
don't know, are we? No, we're not.
oh yeah, we are.
But we're good anyway.
Yeah, but we're good.
40 minutes of
The reason
psychobabble.
why they were on time is because, of course, the intellectuals, aka
Is it
old-timers,
intellectuals? What?
We're checking the clock. We're not.
I think
we're
that's
millennials.
meticulous. I think that's
We're millennials. So I got this.
Oh my god!
I
So
don't
this
think I would
is
call that intellectual. I think meticulous. I think
This
calculated.
is why we
I
don't
think
wear
precise. I don't think
Older
I
people.
think we're the more philosophical.
well. I would not like to say older people, but if it's older people, let's go with it. So let's take a little bit of a break.
Hey, wait.
I need
Not
a
that
gentleman to
Oh,
light my.
but we're not going to wait for the break. Here's some
we're gonna
words.
take a break now.
I know. Yeah, we're not going to wait for the break. Here's some words from our sponsors, guys.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Chop, chop.
Chop chop.
Run, Pinky, run.
Right, girl. We're gonna take a little bit of a break. We're gonna talk to our feature sponsor, which is Carlos Villegas of
Thank you, Carlos.
His photography studio, which he has to
We'll
promote.
talk about.
We're going out. Interesting bits happening during the break. We're back.
Whoop, whoop.
We are debating domestication. We have some fierce personalities. So we have Singh
Hello.
and we have Carlos that are just fit to be tied, as the saying were.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Very, very strong personalities,
Mm-hmm.
but very, very tie-downable, domesticatable. I mean, okay, so like we use
Explain domesticatable.
Exactly.
Because like I said,
there's a negative connotation. Like you think of that, and you think of like taking a wild beast and like domesticating it as like taking the fierceness out of it. But,
I
like,
know for me personally, domestication is what you do to animals, not animals.
But
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
that's
You
why
know,
I was like, wait a minute.
I disagree.
That's what you do to horses or dogs.
And I guess
or
I'm waiting
goats.
for your explanation because otherwise I will be like,
Well,
what
but domestic life versus single life is super different.
It's the same shit. It's the same exact. Wait. If I may.
I have a revolving door on my
domestication,
bedroom.
So is what me washing dishes, doing laundry.
No,
Oh,
see, and that's
okay.
the negative connotation.
No.
Domestic.
No, wait. I'm sorry. I love clean underwear, and we talked about this earlier.
We did, and that's why people are getting that
basically,
funk.
It's doing the exact same thing you do for yourself, but you do it with someone else. It's the same thing. There's nothing different.
I disagree.
I don't think
I don't cook
Can
for
I say
myself.
this? I think I would.
Well, first of
I
all,
would love to lay in bed with someone and watch terrible videos with them in bed all day long and just have a good time doing that. I think that would be wonderful.
But
You don't do you don't do that right now?
No, I do it right now.
With somebody else?
But with someone else, I think it would be fantastic.
That's
I would
the best
love
thing in
to
the
do
world.
But
that.
to like sync
Hey,
up with
Joel,
somebody and
let's
have that
not get out of bed.
synchronicity, like
No, completely.
Let's
like-
not get out of bed.
So
Let's
I've never
just,
had that, so I can't really relate to.
so like let's make this a thing. Let's take Sunday, not getting dressed, make big breakfast.
Pajama jam.
See, I don't know how to.
Well,
do
I mean, okay, so me and I was doing the domesticated thing for like 8 years. So like our big thing was like, okay, we got a house, we got a pool, we don't ever really have to leave the premises. That we've got a privacy wall built up around the pool. So like, let's make Sundays.
Your
We
day.
just don't get dressed. We just don't put on clothes because we don't have to.
So
You put on clothes Monday and Tuesday?
No, but we just singled out.
Well,
Sunday.
when you were
Because
at the store.
we were busy at the Monday was grocery shop, or Monday was grocery shop. Sunday not so much. She was not so into grocery shopping, so I forced him to go to the grocery store with me on Monday.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Oh.
Monday's better.
Because he hates the grocery store. He hates
Same.
grocery
Me
shopping.
too.
And so like Monday was grocery shop day.
Yeah.
And so we spent the week, and like I would work and whatnot, and then Sunday would be like, we don't put on clothes, we just hang out at the pool, we do whatever we do, we do a little S4, which in case people are not aware, because that's going to be a thing too, just like /tag. Let's see, it's smoke,
Sex.
oh my gosh, smoke, suck, smooch, and smash.
Oh, I love smoochies.
And just like
I love all the above.
strictly the S4s.
But can we get Chinese food
but hold on,
Because I would love to do that.
Exactly. Like,
Can we get some Chinese
further.
food after that? Because we smoked, we have kissed, we have smashed.
Smoke.
Bitch, I'm hungry.
Right, exactly.
Give me something to eat because I want to eat now.
at least
Lord.
give yourself a reason to be hungry 3 hours later. I mean,
Good Lord.
you know.
But I just want to ask.
You are
I need your
gentleman.
definition of what domesticated is. That
Yeah,
the word
what's
that you
the
Domesticated is
Because-
the different. Okay, so when you think about domesticating an animal, you bring
I'm
it in.
asking what your opinion
You
of your
create
definition.
you use a single entity and you combine it. You make it a family. You make it a group or a pack.
That doesn't
Because when you
sound-
domesticate something, you bring it into the house. Say you adopt a raccoon, and then you domesticate it. You bring it into the home.
Okay.
So like you adopt it into your fold, your pack, if you will, however you want, whatever euphemism you want to use for that.
But can't you domesticate a horse and not bring it into your house?
I don't want a horse in the
You
house.
can't.
Still outside.
But again, I
isn't
think
it?
it's a completely different perspective.
But it's
on
not.
what
That's breaking a
domestication
horse.
is.
That's different.
Because we
Gotcha,
see it
okay.
as something to a certain
Domesticating
extent,
is bringing it under the
we're
roof.
wild and
Gotcha.
they're going to teach us the right way of being, which to us is like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? I
Right,
don't
you
need to
can't
be
train us,
domesticated.
blah,
Gotcha,
blah,
gotcha.
Blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah, blah.
exactly.
Yeah,
You know,
but that's
breaking-
what he's talking about.
breaking
I
them
thought
up
you
saying-
like me for being wild and all this other stuff,
Right.
but at the same time, I'm okay with the fact that I want to do all that stuff, but can we eat?
That's-
'Cause I just want to eat. I
Do you want
Exactly.
do you want one
right?
taco or two?
I mean, and it's that
Exactly.
synchronicity of like you finally found somebody who like, oh my god, this is all you want to do on Sundays.
Mhm.
That's fucking amazing.
Well,
I
I
love
mean-
you so much.
I mean, I guess
Kind of
I don't
crap.
think domestication is the right word. I mean, maybe living in synchronicity with
Yeah.
each other.
Well, I
you know,
mean,
kind
that's
of
like
yeah.
under the same roof. You can't exist under the same roof with somebody you're not in synchronicity with.
But at the same time, if they could take me out and go,
You ever been to
Joel,
college?
That's not synchronicity.
Exactly.
if
But
they
we
could-
in the roof.
But if they could take me out and go, Joel, I know you want
I
to be.
think it's about
I know you want to be here,
adaptability.
and I know you're having a good time. Go do it.
Because I can be
Please
adaptable.
go do it because I love watching you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they
domestic
watch
is-
me do my
I can see
thing, and
that.
they're like, "That's why I fell in love with him in the first place because that motherfucker knows how to do shit."
Well, and that's something entirely different. I think the domestication is the symbiosis that happens
Like
when
the
you two are
unification
just
with two
you
people.
two,
Yeah.
and you're just constantly
Okay.
like,
Now
I don't
get
eat
what you're
crust on my
saying.
pizza.
The word
you eat my crust.
symbiosis make total sense to
Yeah,
me,
exactly.
and I know a lot of people are going to be like, "What is that?" It's actually the
Trust me, I'm
kind of
nerding
like,
out with you right now.
It's kind of like the union or that mash, that chemically combination that you two create when
Together.
you bring when you bring two opposites and they kind of mash together.
Like magnet.
Yeah, like a magnet. So I mean, I can totally see that. I'm very adaptable. Like I usually find myself adapting more to people than people adapting to me, but at the same time, I'm always going to be me, regardless of it. And something that we were talking about earlier was about the fact that sometimes we want to put our best foot forward or want to look our best to impress people or attract people, but then once they realize that we're totally different or that we're only being this way because we're trying to attract somebody, then they get the real you and they're no longer attracted. And what I want to say about that is that, for example, in my case, and I always say this, and I tend to be a little extra in those that I've been in a relationship with.
You know what? You don't say.
Pinky, shut up.
Really?
I tend to be very extra.
I said, hey, everybody, because this is what Pinky said. Everybody send one picture. Because we might use
I
those
sent
pictures.
a shitload of pictures.
We
I
might
look
send.
cute in all of
We
them.
might use a picture for the new show thing, and I got 29 pictures from this bitch, and I'm like,
Are you shitting me?
No.
Are you for
Yes,
real? 29?
Jesus.
you were part of the group
Kept
chat.
going.
Oh no, it wasn't.
I'm
You
cute.
weren't. It was me, you, and
I
him.
sent one picture.
She sent
And
one
I didn't
picture.
even send all the cute
You
pictures
sent
of me.
29
You
pictures,
sent
bitch.
You're talking to a
No.
you're talking to a photographer. He's trying to give me my pick of the litter.
I think
Well,
I
shit,
sent
if
maybe
you
like 10.
you should know which one you look perfect.
And what happened?
That's the thing. I
and
look
what
good
happened
on every
then?
single one of them.
Exactly. And what happened then?
I don't know.
And then I sent the message. I said,
yeah. Oh, and
I
then I
need
was
3/4 up profile.
Yes. But initially, I was told to send a picture, and I was like, I don't know what you need, so I'm going to send all these good pictures of
photographer.
myself.
Exactly.
29 though, 29.
So once
Maybe
somebody
it's like
gave
4
me
people.
proper direction, I was like, I would have been able to send just 1 or 2
And it
if I
kept
would have
going.
given.
I'm laying in bed. I'm watching TV,
Yeah, he's
and
like,
my
"Stop,
phone kept
Carlos,
going.
stop, Carlos."
I said, Carlos, please stop. Please stop.
4
Bitch.
people. You sent 29.
She-
Yes,
said-
but let me tell you, and like I said, I'm extra.
But we're snap
We
people.
going to
We take like
CNN.
But
12,000
being
pictures of like
extra
everything.
It's gonna make the wrong people run and the right people stay.
Thank
So,
you.
At the end of the day, it's just I am who I am.
I know. But you know what?
I'm
Here's the
extra.
thing. Singapore sent one picture, and this bitch went,
Was it-
yes, queen, yes.
Who
That
said that?
picture.
I said that?
Yes, you did. She sent one picture.
After
and I
after
So you're telling
after
me-
I sent Carlos the instruction though.
Mhm.
She sent her picture after all of his.
Yeah, and see that was my thing.
When I put it out there and said this is exactly
Joel.
what I need for it to fit with the
This
rest
one,
of the
this
mix.
one.
and I'm gonna pronounce your name in Spanish, Joel. I actually would have only sent like 2 or 3 pictures if I would have gotten like, this is what I
A reply,
need.
like, bam, that's
Yes.
it. And he just kept sending.
And I was a
'cause-
little shady on my reply. If I would have gotten real good directions.
like, shit.
But all I kept thinking was, this bitch really loves herself. She has sent me 29
I do.
pictures with like 90 different poses. And
Oh,
I'm like,
my
this
God.
bitch really
Cowboy
loves
hat.
herself.
You had a
This
cowboy hat.
bitch really loves
Slash,
herself.
never trust a man in a cowboy hat ever in your life.
And by the way, Carlos, I have to say that it was the most wonderful thing on the planet because, like I said, as someone who took years to get to a certain point and go, oh, I love myself now, and then have to deal with some issues, and then have to start all over again with those issues to say, you know what, okay, if this bitch can send 29 pictures,
And I'm okay. So
I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna do this.
I'm gonna clarify that for people who don't know the mix. Okay, so and I say this and it comes from a place of love. I root for the underdog, and I mean that in no offensive manner.
Baby, what-
Carlos knows it comes from a place of love. But somebody who is stereotypically, in society's eyes, should not feel that comfortable with his image.
Yeah, exactly.
Is ridiculously and
Comfortable
admirably comfortable and loves himself, as all of us should.
And I have a couple of
Do you know how
friends.
rare that is and how
I know.
hard that is to do?
And
I'm a
That's
person
a
who
beautiful thing.
I'm a 7.5 at least as far as looks go, and I still don't have that. So that's something I'm getting jealous.
I don't
But you know what?
accept
You know
this.
what? You might be a 7.5 sitting right here, but I promise you, if you go to Walmart at 2 a.m, you're gonna be at 12.
Slash, I gotta do that 3 times a week.
Probably gonna be a 20.
You're gonna be at 12, baby.
It's part of a regiment that I do. I go
But
to Walmart 3 times a week at 2 a.m.
No, I'm not a 10.
I'd be like, that's a whole lot of
I don't think
America.
there's
And
that many
Carlos,
tents in
I
the
have to
house.
say this. I was actually upset because I'm like, how do I compete with this bitch in 29 pictures?
I was like, do I even have 29
I
pictures?
said, how do I compete? I can't even send one because I'm not happy with whatever picture I sent.
You're like scrolling,
I'm
scrolling.
This bitch sent 29
God
pictures
damn it! Like
from, and I'm like,
scroll.
They're like one from every 29 different events in 29 different outfits on
and
29
she
different
said-
occasions.
And this bitch said, I look good in all these pictures, so just pick
And she is
one.
fucking dimples,
that
fucking
confidence.
from ear to ear
Where's your
in every
dimples?
single one of them.
I don't have dimples. I don't know what they're talking about.
These are dimples.
Those are dimples, bitch.
Well, no,
Those are
it's right there.
dimples.
Yeah.
They're right here.
They're
But
just
anyways,
they're covered up
no.
in handlebars.
I have to say this. I love this bitch. Because
Slash tag, this is
she
super fucking
make-
frustrating. Cut it the fuck out.
She
I'm
is
watching TV.
where I was like I said, where I was feeling depressed about myself and everything else. This bitch sent 29 pictures and said, I look good in all of these, just pick one.
I normally
I
have
would
to
go
be.
check the
And I
mail
went,
naked at that point. I'd be like,
Yes,
fuck it, whatever.
ma'am.
Like,
Yes,
look at it.
ma'am.
I normally have to be dressed head to
Yes,
toe
if
in
this girl
lingerie
can
to
do
feel
that,
good
then
about
I
myself.
can go you know what?
No, seriously, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
Even me, when I'm doing my makeup or something like that, I don't like my own man to see me or anything like that. I cover my chest, I cover my butt. Well, no,
What?
I'm lying. I don't cover my
And I
butt.
have-
My butt's good,
Cute.
but yeah,
And I have to
like,
say this. I'm not going to say any. And I, this group.
you
I have a-
empowered something.
Yeah, I know.
And that's
This is a big
fucking
group,
awesome.
and every week it always changes. But some people in this group are like, "Oh, girl, I can't even send one picture because I don't look good. I'm too this, I'm too that, blah 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 blah." This bitch sent 29 pictures.
You
This bitch sent
Just so everybody
29 pictures.
honestly,
That's listening.
And
but you know what you
said-
did? When you send 29 pictures, and other people only send 1 or 2. You really promoted them, and you make them feel like fuck that. I can do 29 too. Maybe I'll do 30. Fuck it, I can do 32.
And
What? And
You
who people
really,
can?
it's like you push people up.
I think
That's
stronger.
awesome.
I think stronger than that message is the message where people stop themselves from freezing those moments in time. They
exactly.
stop. They don't even have those pictures to send. I don't have those pictures to send. I don't like pictures of myself. I'm a super overcritical. The reason me and Carlos really resonated with one another was originally photography. Well, mutual
Do
exes,
you think
yeah.
it's something to
Well,
do
not
with
mutual
kind
exes,
of
but like mutual life things.
Yeah.
But we found a love and an outlet in photography.
Do you think there's anything in like correlation between like how you see yourself when pictures take of you and then how you take picture?
I think being on the side of the lens that me and Carlos are on, and like the X-ray value there is there, and then like being able to kind of connect the dots between common denominators in individuals you photograph and things you photograph, and like seeing truth and value in, you know, just the fucking like right to the bones of it.
So you do.
The shit they can't hide.
Yeah, people can't hide stuff.
So you definitely see a correlation between the two.
The key is gone.
I mean, being being on that side of the lens and looking out and seeing it.
I can't have any more tequila, I guess.
And just
this
Bad
bitch is
boys.
hiding it on the side of her.
It's gone. There's no more.
there's nothing but a message in that bottle.
Yes.
But I have to say that you know what? Like I said, my phone just kept going off and off and off and off, and I'm like, this bitch needs to stop.
I will say there's two things.
She kept going, and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't even have two
Do you
pictures.
know,
but I can see that this bitch has sent 29 pictures.
I don't even have 5 photos that I would feel
I
comfortable
have a
to
shitload of
send in
pictures.
it.
But see, the
I got more than my
and it's funny
grinder
because
roll.
for those that are listening to us, I'm 5'5", and I'm talking about inches, of course, which is the American. What is it?
Yeah.
Average.
Yeah.
Average length.
Yeah, so I'm.
I was like, no.
Oh, 5 foot 5 inches.
5 inches.
Okay.
Yes. No.
Never mind. We're talking about something different. He's
Okay,
I was
yes.
like, that's not accurate.
I'm 5'5". I'm actually 5 feet 5 inches. I'm about 250 pounds. I am bald. I am overweight. By standards of beauty, I'm awful. But and when I look at the picture, I mean, when I look at me in the mirror, I recognize that what's there is not perfect, but it's fucking awesome.
See, and
that's how I feel.
So then it is.
Then it is because
If you like, do you like it?
I like it.
Okay, then it's perfect.
I like it.
What gives something value? In a capitalist market, what gives something value?
Whatever somebody's gonna be willing to pay.
Think about supply and demand.
For somebody to
If there's a bunch of them, it's worth less.
Value.
Yeah.
If there's only one, it suddenly becomes without a price.
Yep. Right. It's priceless.
And you pay for it by giving somebody else, you're one of a kind.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about
100%. Supply, demand.
Right, exactly. We launched this
look,
idea.
I cannot tell myself as a perfect person because I'm far from perfect in every single way.
Nobody's perfect.
But nobody's perfect.
That is perfect.
Perfect
That's
is a
perfect.
word.
I like what I see. I like who I am.
But why isn't that
And
perfect?
I like my imperfections too.
Perfect is a word that should not even exist.
I
because
disagree. I could not
bullshit.
disagree more.
It's
I say
bullshit.
that us
Enjoy
constructing
yourself,
the definition of perfect, there's nobody in charge of the English language but us. The definition we have applied to perfect means without flaw, without imperfection.
If I may,
Yeah.
rather than saying, "Oh, I'm perfect," say it's like acceptance
But take it a step further.
and prideful.
Redefine
Be
perfect.
happy, like
Why not?
perfection.
I think that both of you are on the same track.
I think
And
why not
both
give everybody
realize
the
that you
ability
are-
to say that I'm perfect?
Yeah, I think that both of you are.
You and I are
literally-
like German Shepherd. We're going the same.
You're in the
But
same
we're like
direction.
We are.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
and
you understand what the idea of what's perfection.
do.
Yeah.
it's just about eliminating the definition we have now of
Side
it.
streets.
Because that is what's useless. The word itself has...
You know what? I love the fact that all
Nothing
Charles
without the value.
asked for was one picture where you're looking up.
29.
After I got 29, I saw that you...
Yes.
Okay, so...
And I already had my picture, so I was good.
In all fairness, Joel said that, hey, okay, hold on,
Send a picture.
And then I said the direction so that everyone else could follow suit. But I mean, like, understanding Carlos and the fact that he's a photographer.
And what was my reply? What was
Like,
my reply?
Good direction.
Good direction. And good direction yields good
Results.
results. So when I was sent a picture, I'm like, well, what the picture you do what? So let me
I'm glad my picture was already there, because you'd have gotten a whole lot more than 29 pictures.
29, babe. 29.
You had me like,
Not 3, not 4. Hey, what's up, cheese bud? Not 3, not 4,
like
5.
thigh highs,
29.
body nylon.
29 pictures.
That is a confidence I am striving to get to.
See, and the thing
Next
is,
time somebody asks me,
is
hey,
pollute
baby, send
the
me
air
a
with
picture.
that.
Yeah,
I'm saying
exactly.
29.
the way
Don't ask me
to
that.
do that is it goes back. It's old as time. Be the change you want to see in the world.
Absolutely.
Inundate
Million
your
thousand.
entire surroundings with that kind of just, this is fucking me.
That's one of the best things.
People are so
ever.
concerned,
Yeah.
and I went over this. I recently have kind of like a love connection go sour,
What?
and it was so. And I'm really, really like super clear. I lead with all my red flags. I tell you, I'm Sicilian. I'm Irish, which means I drink. I'm jealous. You know, it's very Public Enemy's coat check scene. And so, like, this person just kind of, like, led me on because they were being nice.
Being BS.
And I was like, just be fucking upfront with me. I don't want you to be nice. I don't value your niceness. Because niceness is different than kind.
There's a difference.
And I set a you know, the bar, right where it was at. I came to you with, like, no BS, no, like, let's get to know each other, like, bam, this is who the fuck I am.
Yeah.
You want to piss me off? Do this. You want to fucking make me happy? Let's do that. It's like, these are the options that you have. Like, run one way or the other with
But this person
they felt like they couldn't be honest with me because it didn't feel nice.
That sounds like they tried to pee on your back and say it was rain.
Because
That's what it does.
because they wanted,
Yeah.
That's a good analogy.
for sure, of the truest intentions. You know,
Not to be bad, I'm not saying
No,
there's some
no, no,
malicious,
absolutely.
but some
Exactly.
People that
sometimes
don't know how to,
and that's
you know
what humanity is stuck on. That's what's
sometimes
wrong
people
with it.
they're scared to be like.
Because they don't think it's nice. They just want to be nice because we're taught from the time that we're kids that we need to be nice to everybody. And we find cordial the same as courteous.
And can I say this?
there's
Though?
niceness
I will
because-
say this. Pinky, I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I actually agree with you because I
Oh shit, that's a
completely hate look, I know who I am. I know that
Don't be
I know exactly who I am.
Don't pee on my back and say it's raining.
Exactly.
And the hardest
You pee on
person
me.
to be is me. So I know exactly who I am. So if you're going to hook up with me, you need to know exactly who I am. And that's all there is to it.
I mean,
and
this person
I can give you
months ago.
the most wonderful experience on the planet, but I could also make your life hell.
Also,
And
bring tacos.
yes, and bring
Like a
tacos.
gentleman.
Exactly.
Bring me some food, and I'm okay.
like,
but
it went on
the
for
thing
like
is that,
a month and a half.
Exactly.
Where I was every single time I saw this person, I had flowers.
That has
You
to
know,
be so
went to
stressful,
the
like,
beach,
for you.
and it was, and the biggest shit stain on all of it was that at the end of it, he just kind of was like,
86.
this is all a little bit too crazy for me, for how long we've been talking, this, that, and the other, and I just think that this is just moving too fast and this, that, and the other.
Wow.
Because I called him out on his bullshit.
Did he think his wiener was moving too fast?
Right.
Touching
no,
your
he didn't.
body?
He didn't.
Oh, exactly.
But come a week later,
That's what she said.
This decision that he made to do that for this other thing, he comes to me, he's like, well, an ex of mine came back into the picture, and
You fucking
it was
shit.
like a week after I was talking to you. I was like, oh, so you mean it wasn't all in my head and I wasn't just a fucking dramatic, crazy bitch, and I was just calling you on your fucking shit.
And he was
fucked
dramatic.
And,
That's fucked up.
and it's like,
Excuse my language,
I wasn't
that's
crazy.
fucked up.
it wasn't me. Like, and this person still couldn't like wrap their head around how like shitty and self-centered all of that was. It's like, you played me. It's like, no, I didn't play you. All those feelings I have for you for real. But like, no.
And let me tell you, to something that you were talking about is being nice. And I always lead with trying to be nice, of course. Because believe it, courteous. Okay. You can say it however you want. But I have actually turned people down and said, you know what, I'm really, thank you so much. You're sexy, you're cute, but you're not my type.
And that's honest. And I feel like that's the difference between nice and courteous.
Let me tell you, I have been turned down many times before, and I have turned down people before, and I always do it in a nice way or courteous way. And I appreciate what somebody can just tell me, you know what, that this is, like one day I was going to do a hookup, and once I got there, the guy was like, you were not what I was expecting, and I apologize, you are cute, but I don't like short people. Like, I don't know how to be with short people. So I said, okay. He said, I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want to waste mine either. And I said, you know what? Thank you so much. Thank you for being a gentleman, blah, blah, blah. I left. But people don't know how to take rejection. It's like, put your big boy, your big boy, your big girl pants and get up and leave. There's nothing wrong with somebody saying, you know what, I'm not into you, or I don't see this working for whatever reason.
I agree with you.
What's wrong with that? Why do you have such a problem with rejection?
Can I say this? And I can't believe I'm saying this. Pinky, yeah, I've been that guy. The guy you were just talking about right now, that's been me. That has been me. And I actually feel bad for that because
Well, don't feel bad because you're trying to be. Don't feel bad.
Well,
because it is what it is.
It is what it is, and I really had to struggle with what I like in a guy, what I don't like in a guy, what I can say to a guy that maybe I don't like certain things, and if I try to be nice, I always feel like that I always end up losing because the moment that I try to be nice, then I'm like, I didn't get what I want. And I don't have a problem with that, except for the fact that I always seem to give in to someone when it comes to their stuff. But when it comes to my stuff, it's like, wait a minute.
That's because they're being nice to you and you're being courteous to them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the difference. You're not being nice.
And another thing, a lot of times people don't know how to ask for what they want.
Exactly, because we're meant to be ashamed of the things that like aren't popular or are gray area. That's why 50 Shades of Grey even exists.
It's like ask for a yard, take mile. That's what it
is. Because, and if I'm not mistaken, I heard in one of the other podcasts somebody talking about, well, I usually have the conversation with, and I think it was you and another person talking about, I usually in our conversation, I ask about this and I ask about that. Usually what I'm interested in, I usually put it in there. This is what I like. And then usually most people or most guys will come with it. Oh, well, I don't do this. Well, I don't do that. And then at that point in time, I think of, okay, am I willing to not go there? And if for whatever reason I say, okay, I'm willing not to take this, then I'm like, hey, it's cool, let's meet. But if not, then I'll say, well, thank you so much, but
86.
I can get it somewhere else.
Right, because we as people in relationships, we also don't understand.
At what point do you go, you know what, okay, I don't really like
at
that.
The first sign.
But I'm going to try to see.
Hold on, because we have a misunderstanding of what compromise means as well.
That is
compromising is we both hate it the same amount.
That's a definite different possibility. Like, you know, you guys can.
Is he doing without something on that same level equally that you're doing without for you on that level?
I think that goes also back to how comfortable you are with yourself, and there's nothing wrong with demanding what you want. You're not always going to get what you want anyways.
But even to this day, I'm 51 years old, and even to this day, I still have a problem with expressing my comfort level. So I always have a problem with being able to say, hey, look, it's not my thing.
Because we want to be nice.
That you're not going to come over anymore? Because if I say that, then you're not going to come over anymore. And then I'm like, wait a minute.
Good. You're just wasting your time.
But then
if they
I'm
keep coming over.
mad because I'm like, why didn't you just say that in the first? Why didn't I just say that in the first place? I don't like this.
Because you were being nice. What do you have to say, Singapore?
Yes.
So basically, it kind of boils down to you have two options. One, you can make a compromise, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys can work together, sword fight it out, whatever.
Ooh,
But-
sword fight it.
Hey, don't threaten me with a good time, okay? Calm down.
She knows how to do that.
What if your sword is bigger than his?
It's not.
I'm just saying.
It's in my drawer.
And he
I left
knows.
it at home. But the other bit is that you have to address a situation. I think that all of us are of age.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we already know what we're willing to put up with, what we won't put up with. So
Some people don't know.
But I love the fact
Hold
that
on.
even at this age, we're still having this conversation.
But-
it's still a great conversation because we're still having it.
But
We're still not secure.
True.
about
Go on,
what we
Singapore.
want.
I can see that. But you were
And-
saying?
what do you got, love?
And I think that for you, when I every time I meet your man, and I'm like, this bitch has got it lucky. She has a man who likes exactly who she is.
Outside in is a different story.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck me.
You can compromise or you can.
I think that when you're younger, you tend to compromise yourself
Mm-hmm.
more easily. But as you get, please, gentlemen, as you get older, no, you don't do that anymore because you're like, I know what I want, I know what I like, I know what I accept, I know what I appreciate. You start to get a knowing of yourself. It's
Yeah.
basically like learning how to mow your own fucking yard.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Learning your
learn
own
how to-
combination.
How to take care of your house, and you're like, this is how it is. So you have to. That shit starts to kind of go by the wayside, and I think that younger a bit, they still have room to make their yard, but as you as you get older, no, you know what you want, and I think it's so important to be like, hey, it's like this. Either you can take it or you can leave it, and it's up to you because somebody gonna fucking like it. And one of my biggest things is everybody. What was that saying? Was it the grass always greener on the other side? Bullshit. That's the most bullshit saying ever.
Yep.
Because
If you
you don't have to take care of it.
If you water your own fucking lawn, you ain't gotta worry about next door.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
You ain't
Worry
gotta
about your own
this shit.
backyard before
Water
you
the
start worrying about
motherfucking-
whatever everybody else is.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
all of us
See-
are of age that we know.
But are we
But
are we of age?
But I would like to
Because
say
age
that.
doesn't
We're of
mean
age to know better.
But
we are of age. Because I was going to say,
but
age
we
has
are. But
nothing
we
to do with
still
being.
we still end up making.
Because we.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm going
right.
to jump up at
Still
what
in
Joel
the-
has to say.
We still end up going. Okay. Yeah. I kind of like this person.
You're
but
never
I'm
too-
not.
You're never too old to
But I'm
want
not
to be
willing
loved.
to give up who I am to do
I'm
it.
not gonna do it anymore. No.
And then I realized that,
You should have to.
shit, if I do this, then I'm really going to end this.
I think
And
the
that's
real
what
problem
what it really boils down to.
with that is that we have to get to the age that we all are
Mm-hmm.
because we're so romanticized as a
Yes.
culture, and you're not worth a goddamn thing unless you have a partner or a
Thank
girlfriend
you.
or a boyfriend.
And it goes
So you
to,
spend all of that time making those concessions and not focusing on what you like and learning your own combination.
exactly. Right,
Except you have to burn through him and burn through him and burn through him and burn through her and go through those phases in order to just experience life and say, look, I'm not going to get into a relationship until I'm 27, 28 years old, and I've actually figured out what the fuck I like.
How
And
many,
even then, that
how
doesn't
many,
mean-
how many fucking pools do you have to jump through before you get to the river?
however
Yeah,
many
exactly.
you need.
When they-
That's what it sounds
When
like.
they-
When you
exactly,
said,
when they-
No, but
You have to say, this
but
pool
it
is too hot, this pool is
It's
too cold.
When you
To
when
learn
you,
that.
I'm sorry, but when you get to 51, you're like, the river? I'm not going to the river. Fuck that.
I
Exactly.
don't like the river.
I don't like the
And-
river.
I think
Because
it
you
goes
know where
back
to
to-
go.
Yeah,
to being-
exactly.
Didn't I
Okay.
just say I barely went to the grocery store for the first time?
Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
sometimes when you get to the river, you're like, oh no, girl, I'm not doing that.
Right, they take you to
I
that
can
same...
order a river, Amazon,
That's like these fucking...
next day delivery.
But when you literally have to look at someone and you have to think, Now that we're living in a different age, now you have to think, okay, so if I say something to this person, I have to make sure that I say something to this person that, one, validates who they are, two, doesn't hurt their feelings, three, allows me to be myself. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work.
Why do you have to validate them?
Because at the same time, you don't want to.
We all need validation.
You don't want to say, "Hey, look, yeah, I'm not really into that," and I respect who you are as a person, and I respect that that's what you're into. But that's not what I'm into, so I have to say no to that.
And it goes back to
I wanted me to hang out in the
and I can tell you guys.
Then you spend so much time thinking, did I say the right thing? Did I make their feelings? No. Did I do all that stuff?
No.
And then you're like, wait a minute, what about my feelings? I didn't want to do that in the first place.
Exactly, because they're going to get to an age.
I did not want to do that in the first place.
They recognize that you did the right thing. And
so I don't want to do that anymore.
Because you didn't just placate them and make nice with them. They're going to grow up.
Yeah. And it goes back to being comfortable with who you are. And being by yourself.
Once a month.
Because
you are not brushing.
People usually tend to say, or the reason why we are so afraid of all these things is because we are afraid of being alone. But it's not about being alone. It's about you are scared of being with yourself.
Can I say so?
Can I
say one thing real quick? My mom always told me, she goes, if you're ever lonely, when you're alone, you're in bad company.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to fix yourself. You can be.
You have to be comfortable with you and be comfortable with you being with you. Because most people the most thing that people are afraid is being in a room with themselves in their mind. Once you get comfortable with who you are and with you being with you, then it doesn't matter what goes around you. So most people are afraid of being alone. But what you're afraid of really is being alone with yourself.
But you know the wonderful thing that I have is the fact that I am surrounded by people who constantly tell me, Joel, just be you. Just be you. As long as you just be you, you're good. So you need to stop worrying about the fact that maybe sometimes you get a little depressed and you just want to lay in bed all day and do your thing.
Been there. Everyone goes there.
Maybe sometimes you like wearing your emotions on your sleeve. Sometimes you like a little drama because drama adds a little bit of life. I have to say
drama
this.
Drama is like. Okay, so your life is like White Rice, and drama is like Tony Chachere's. Just it's a little bit of spice.
It's a little bit of spice.
True.
And I hate when I'm sitting around when I'm on a date. I hate when I'm on a date and a gay man says, "I don't like drama." How are you living then, bitch? You're gay.
You might as well say you don't like air.
Yeah, exactly. Drama is life. It's just
you
the way that we are.
Every day, but a little bit of drama.
I watch my heterosexual friends do their thing, and they is full of drama all the time.
Are more dramatic and more.
Yeah, that's because they're the most dishonest.
Yeah, exactly. Because they've been taught to be dishonest.
Because they got to be somebody.
Yeah, exactly. So they've been taught to be
image that
and as men, we have been taught to be dishonest when it comes to that.
Right. What makes us men.
Yes, because we were, by the way, for most of our parents, we were thought of as straight men to begin with. So when we were...
nothing else to be.
No, there was nothing else to be. So we were thought of as straight men until they looked at us and went, oh, no, that's not going to happen. Oh, this child.
But did they
love my child.
Or did we have to tell them?
No, usually parents always reckon... My parents knew I was gay from... 9 years old.
Mine didn't
even register.
And leave her hair alone. Okay, so just FYI,
what's happening?
Charles Stevens, please do not go in the hair business.
No, this is her hair.
No, I know it's not her hair.
Ask her how often she.
But it's funny. You're just touching it.
I can blend his hair, no problem.
Why is this gay dude touching my hair?
No, I don't care. You could be a giraffe. I don't care. You touch my hair. If you do it good, you do good. But it's not even tight.
He's trying to do his own hairstyle on you, which I'm like,
no,
he's braiding your hair.
If she brushed it, this wouldn't be happening right now.
But that's natural curly. Well, you
No,
have
it's
natural
not.
curly hair.
Mm.
And
Isn't
it's
that
already
too
easier to
curly?
manage just since I'm playing with it.
She's having issues. Like you should see her face. Look, don't
What are
touch
you
my
doing?
hair.
I'm
What the fuck?
separating
You
it.
don't know how to do it.
I do know how to
You
do
don't know
it.
how to touch it.
No,
Right.
you don't. Are you trying? Wait, are you
I
trying
just
to
did
do?
it divided right down the middle.
He's trying to
We should do this
do
on
a
the air.
braid.
Are you
I
trying
think
to
that-
do? Are you
He's
trying
trying
to
to do a
do
braid.
like
You know what? I think that
like
this.
over the top or underneath?
I
Over
think
the
that,
top.
You're not a
Okay.
stylist.
I think
Okay,
that this
so what
episode.
you're gonna
That's
do?
not
You're
true.
gonna start right
You're
here.
not a stylist.
I think that this
You start right here.
episode.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm doing the whole thing.
Yeah, that's why you
All of it
start
right
here,
into one.
Start
she's,
here.
she's telling you what to do.
and then you.
Okay, so I think it's
See?
time for a break.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and.
Oh,
yes.
episode's over.
This
Oh, no.
episode, we only
It's
have-
done.
You do whatever you want.
we only have 6 minutes left in this
We got 6 minutes
episode.
left.
Awesome.
So-
I'm gonna post pictures of his hair when I'm done, y'all.
So we'll have 6 minutes left in this episode, and I have to say that this is, oh my god,
I love self-love episodes.
I do, because this episode here is,
It really
Yes.
went on a. It touched a lot of like super awesome things. that
Yeah,
I'm
it
kind
did.
of really,
Sure,
really
you should
happy
get-
about.
yeah, I'm really happy about what
I
we
love being a
talked
part of it.
about. I really am happy about
You just
what
like
we talked
touching my
about,
hair.
because we just literally
I can't wait till
just
mine gets this.
let our hair down, so to speak,
And keep in
So
mind,
to
I have no
speak.
hair.
so to speak. Neither do I, so we're good.
And she got
Poor-
glasses on the front.
Poor Singapore,
He's
she has-
combing my dreads out, which is like really awful.
Poor Singapore, she has this beautiful
Oh,
long
those were
black
dreads.
hair, and
Because I don't.
Miss
comb it.
Pinky is
Exactly.
trying to do whatever it is that she's trying to do.
Or
Trying to
maybe
pinkify
Pinky
it.
could. I think Pinky could probably braid my hair better if his heels were
I think
higher.
I think that if Pinky's friend Marcus was here, he would have already braided your hair and been done with
Marcus is a colorist.
it. Mm-hmm.
In other words, Marcus.
You
knows
know,
what
you
he's
know, I have to go
doing.
home like this, right?
And
My old man still.
Yeah,
like,
and
I'm,
really
I'm,
pinkish
I'm
is
trying to
not-
get me some pain when I get home.
I'm trying to give him a handlebar. You just calm down.
Shit. You think I need that hair?
So-
Have you seen these cakes?
Yes.
yes,
So
we have to
this
check them out.
episode was fun. I enjoyed this.
I did very,
I
much.
did. We had Miss Singapore Rose
Woo-hoo!
on the show.
Thank you.
We had Carlos Villegas. You have to go to his. You have a.
I don't, but I'm working on a.
You have to put your
I
photography
cannot.
photography shit. You have to put your
Yes.
photography shit out
Yes,
there,
I'm
girl.
working.
Oh, you know
October,
what? I'm gonna
October.
print
It's going to be in a
it.
gallery
Yes,
for
yeah.
a whole month.
Yes,
So
you
I
have
will
to
let
put
you
your-
know more on
you have
that
to put your
later.
pho- By the way, she's gonna hopefully.
I will be doing the
Carlos is
photography.
going
for-
to do some major pictures for us
Yes.
and put us all into like fun, interesting poses.
5 or
with
29.
costumes and all kinds of stuff.
And it's going to be like 3 pictures of everybody else and like 29 of me.
hmm
No, I'm just kidding. No, it's not going to be that. I'm not that crazy. But
So if you want to hook up and get this man to take your pictures, Carlos, why don't you tell?
yes,
Why don't you
please,
tell them?
you can actually send me an email at cvphotography@google.com. You can also text me at 713-530-8383. No dick pics, please. Thank
Her
you.
number on the bathroom stop.
And if you want to hang out with Singapore,
Aviana.
if you want to hang out with Singapore, tell the audience where you are at on Mondays and Tuesday nights in
Oh.
Houston.
Oh, my lovelies, I'm going to be at TK Bittermans, which is on Richmond Avenue here in Montrose. And then also, if you want to get a little extra love, I'll be on Wednesday and also Sunday over at Dino's Den on Richmond Ave.
Dino's
Girl,
Bye, baby.
you have to take us there because I would like to see you in action.
Action.
What is? Tell us about Dino's a little
Dino's
bit.
Den, it's like TK on Adderall.
Really?
It's very, 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 very busy.
Mm-hmm.
But super fun.
Does Adderall make you like hyper?
I don't know.
I
Why
never
don't
did
you
the
tell me
pill.
how you're doing my hair?
It can
I
help
never
you
did the pill
focus,
thing.
but if you're drunk, it will actually sober you.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
That's
actually,
'cause you're
it's
up
about
and
2 or
downers.
3. It's about 2 or 3. I think it's 2 or
Miss-
3.
Well, if I'm wasted,
2 or 3
it'll
off
sober
of
me.
meth, amphetamine.
So, Miss Pinky, I know that we promised some people some drag queen stuff, and we were not able to do that this time around.
I'm not going to take responsibility for that, Joel.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to take
It was before
responsibility
he was
for what you're doing to my hair?
the co-producer.
No, because it's not on us. We did our due diligence, and we kind of opened our doors.
You've been in the same spot for about 10 minutes right now.
We opened our doors to them, and wanted to
like
be
them to work
as
the same spot for
hospitable
10
as
I
don't need that long, baby.
to them, and they just kind of didn't.
Okay, well, that's going to be like another episode that we will do. That we'll do in the future, and we will figure this out. I know that you guys were like, "Hey, where are the drag episodes that you guys promised us?" Well, guess what?
Baby, sit down.
It's a little harder than we thought.
Sit down. Perfect, because I've actually gotten it brushed through now.
It's perfect.
Look at that! It's actually going to do what she wants it to now.
So thank God.
So
he is
we're gonna
stylist.
end the show here
broke.
with my co-host Miss Pinky, who is back on the show doing her thing.
Thankfully.
Mm-hmm. And wearing her heels and doing all this other stuff.
Thankfully
alive.
Those aren't really heels.
No, those aren't really heels.
They're a little bit. They're a little bit cheaters.
They're wedges.
I was ooting about.
Mm-hmm.
I was ooting about, as they say, a little bit north of where I'm actually from.
So next week we have one more show under the Joel and Randy's Texas Tea name, and then after that we're changing. We are changing. We're done.
I am changing.
Mm-hmm.
No.
We have the name for the new show. We're gonna put it out. We're gonna have a little party. I really do want to say this. We are going to have a little soiree where we're going to get everybody together who's ever been on the show. We're going to have cocktails. We're going to have drinks. We're going to announce the new show.
I like cocktails.
Yes.
So a lot of cock and a little bit of tail.
So I think the next show will be what day? What day will the next
7 days from tomorrow.
No, I'm talking about the episode. So, well, we have one more episode under Joel and Randy's Texas
We're doing live, aren't we?
On the 28th. So we have one more show that we're going to do under that. And then September 4th, we're under a new name.
Yes.
And we're under a new name.
We're donning our new name.
We're donning our new name. We're going to have a little soiree. We're going to have some friends over. We're going to have a party.
We're kicking off the summer solstice.
Mm-hmm.
Or the fall solstice.
Mm-hmm. So all the people that you heard on the show in the last couple of weeks, you're going to see them here again. You're going to hear them. All those voices.
Over the microphones.
They're going to wash over the microphones, and we're going to have cocktails and maybe a little video or two.
Ooh, videos.
Ooh, some videos would be really cute.
I asked the boy for a video today.
Mm-hmm.
I love videos.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to end the show with
our guests signing off. We have Singapore,
who is now
yanking all of my fucking hair out,
yanking all your hair,
accentuating my male pattern baldness,
making it probably.
And then
worse.
we have the fabulous and talented Carlos
Villegas, who, if you want to get some photography done by him, you really should look him up, because this bitch
does anti-portraits.
This bitch knows how to do some portraits. This bitch knows how to do some portraits. She's a future sponsor of this show, and she's gonna just do her thing.
And has a fantastic backing.
A
that means he got kicked butt.
And that leaves just you and I, Joel. So yes. I will say, if you're not going to be good at it.
Amen.
And I'm just going to say, hey, listen to what Miss Pinky said.
True. Besitos.
Besitos.
Right.
Bye, y'all.
Jerk till it works.
Shit, I'm going to be here all night.